here's what nobody tells you about becoming a leader is that you also have to become a super communicator. You can have the best ideas, you can have the best strategy, you can even have the best heart, but none of that matters if you cannot communicate with people. Being a super communicator is the difference between being ignored and being respected. It's the difference between getting promotions and being overlooked. It's the difference between having conflict and having the best relationships at home and at work. And it's the difference between closing deals and losing deals. My name is Jessica Rivera, and I grew up in the corporate world in business-to-business sales, and now I teach leaders just like you on how to connect with people faster, on the power of your words, the power of your presence, and the power of your influence. So I'm gonna go back there, I'm gonna get my board, and let's go ahead and get into it. I want you to listen to me. Everything you want, sales, contracts, better relationships, loving relationships, recognition, respect, peace, it is all tied to you becoming a super communicator. And here's the kicker. When you become a super communicator, you also become a super connector. You connect with people much faster. So what does that mean? When you're connected with people, they want to help you. They want to buy from you. They trust you. You get everything you want so much faster. So stay with me because I'm going to walk you through the 5 C's on becoming a super communicator. You ready? Okay, so these are the exact skills that are going to get you to command every single room you walk into, lead your team better, make more money, and have the relationships that you desire. At the end of this, I'm going to give you a challenge that you could take directly to the boardroom, to the kitchen table, or to your team to practice becoming a super communicator, AKA super connector. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Number 1 in my 5 C's to becoming a super communicator is curiosity. Curiosity. No curiosity, no relationship, because you will be assuming, you will be making up assumptions, making up stories in your head. Many people walk into a conversation thinking, I already know what they're gonna say. I already know what's going to happen. I already know. Whether it be at work or at home, and you are dead in the water if you do not start off with curiosity. That's step number 1 in becoming a super communicator. Ready for number 2? Number 2 is we have to care. We have to actually care. You know, there's a saying that says people don't care what we know until they know that we care. Care builds trust. When you can tell somebody and show somebody and make somebody feel that you care, you're automatically increasing your trust with them. And what happens when you increase trust? They want to work with you. They want to pay you. They want to help you. They could be your best advocates. So you have got to show that you care. This is step number 1 in becoming a super communicator, curiosity. If you don't have curiosity, you are not going to understand and be able to connect with people because you're too busy making assumptions. Then number 2 is to care, because people do not care what you know until they know that you care. So we have to show, and by the way, this has to be a real thing. You can't just pretend that you care. You have to actually care. So that's the caveat there. Control. Number 3 is control. Control does not mean you're dominating the conversation, but it could mean you're steering it. If you're not steering the conversation, someone else is. And if nobody's steering the conversation, you're going nowhere. Okay? That is not being a super communicator. You want to make sure you have control. Control of your emotions, control of where the conversation's going. You're asking really, really good questions. Why? Because you're curious, because you care, and because you want to control where the conversation is going. You don't want a bad outcome. And because you don't want a bad outcome, you have got to control the conversation. And I would say, before you even try to control the conversation, control your emotions. Understand, oh wait, am I making assumptions here? Oh no, 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 I want to be curious. Am I getting triggered here? No, I want to stay curious and I want to show them that I care about where this conversation is going. That's control. Not just blurting out whatever you want, not waiting until you're frustrated. That is not control. So, number one, curiosity. Number two, we care. Number three, we control. Control. Hey, I know we're in the middle of a lesson, but I wanted to stop and let you know that if this is resonating for you and you want to learn more, I want to talk to you. So go ahead and click the link below and let's set up a call where we could connect and go dive a little bit deeper. All right? We'll talk soon. Now let's get back to it. Okay, we're at number 4. Number 4 is clarity. Clarity is the biggest gift, but you have to do all these in order to make sure you get clarity. Clarity equals power. Clarity is number 4. So if it is taking you 5 minutes to say what could be said in 30 seconds, you already lost me. You're already losing people. There's too much fluff in there. I want you to be clear and concise. When you are saying too many words, it could almost feel like you're manipulating the situation, like you're trying to get something or cover up something. So clarity is going to be key in becoming a super communicator. Also, when you think about clarity, I want you to make sure that you're not apologizing, you're not over-explaining, you're not trying to justify yourself too much. Get clear on what you want to say. But if you stick to curiosity, you stick to care, you stick to being in control, clarity will come. This is all a process here that you have to start practicing. But if we're not getting clear, we're going nowhere. The last, and this is very important. You cannot start here. You have got to end here. Number 5, I want you to have courage. I want you to have courage. I want you to have courage to say the unsaid. I want you to have courage to be honest. I want you to have courage to be vulnerable. I want you to have courage to have trust. Leaders go first. Leaders have courage. I want you to have courage, but you cannot start with courage. You cannot start with courage. You cannot start with just blurting out whatever's been bothering you because now you're frustrated. That is not what true leaders do. That is not what super communicators do. So you're going to end with courage. And you know what happens when you do this? You know what happens when you do this? Not only do you become a super communicator, but here, you know what happens? You become a super connector. And you know what happens when you become a super connector? When you become a super connector, people want to help you. People want to buy from you because they feel connected to you. People want to give you more sales. They'll be your best advocates when you are not in the room. So becoming a super communicator also means you're a super connector. People connect to you easier, and that is a gift, and that's where you can make your true impact. It means that you transform people. You shift the energy in the room in an amazing way every time you walk in it. You don't just figure out what the energy is and acquiesce to the energy in the room. You create the energy in the room. That's what super communicators do. And so here's your challenge. I want you to pick one of these C's, and I want you to take them back to the boardroom or maybe even to the kitchen table, whatever feels right for you. And I want you to test it. Bring it to your next conversation and see how the energy shifts. Be more curious. Ask better questions. Start with what and how, not why. We're going to get deeper into these concepts, so stick with me because this is a series on how you can become a super communicator. Now go ahead and subscribe below, and we're going to keep on becoming super communicators. I cannot wait. Subscribe. My name is Jessica Rivera, and we'll talk soon.